are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
Hello, and welcome once again to another fantastic Tuesday. I am your Dress Down CEO, Tyrone Glover, coming to you live from my location of Yonkers, New York. How's everybody doing out there? Hopefully you are having a blessed and wonderful day. It is, again, it's that time that guy is out there doing what he does best, which is helping you leverage your score. I want to thank you, everyone who makes the time to come out to enjoy and tune into these wonderful shows here on Soul City Network. We are doing what we do best, which is, again, helping you get financially stable, helping you with all of those issues that you might be having when it comes to your credit. If you are not sure about what Soul City Network is, tune in. Come on in. Join us. We are all over the map. When I say Soul City is doing what it needs to do, it's doing what it needs to do on Roku, Apple TV. You name it, those platforms are out there, and it is a blessing. It is a blessing to be part of this wonderful network doing what we do best, which is helping you with a variety of different topics, a variety of different discussions, a variety of different understandings that help community get to where it needs to be financially, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. We do what we do, and that is helping you. So thank you as always. Welcome to the program, and I'm looking forward to any questions that you may have. Please drop those in the line. Drop them in here on the Soul City on Facebook. We out there. Drop them in the YouTube, which we got over there. We are doing what we need to do because it's about you, that public, that individual, that person, that business, that establishment that knows that it can benefit from having the knowledge that we give every single Tuesday. So thank you as always for making it into the program. And let's get it started. We're going to be talking about what are credit building transaction tools and methods. What are they? Now, the first thing to know is, are you using credit? I hope that you are. I really, really sincerely hope that you are using credit, because if you're using credit, then you're building, okay? Debit and cash does not build. It just tells those entities, those places that you frequent on a regular basis, it just tells them, thank you. Thank you very much for your patronage. Thank you for coming to that store. Thank you. And those stores, I'm telling you right now, you're a consumer, they're a business. What do you think they're doing with your cash and debit? Do you think they're giving that cash and debit to another business? No, they're using credit to build their business. And all we're going to do is take that knowledge that we have in the business world, and we're giving it to you, that consumer, because believe it or not, you are the CEO of your household. And as the CEO of your household, you should be building that understanding. And if you are, guess what's going to happen? You're going to build your way right into a positive understanding when it comes to your credit. You're going to see yourself in that 800 to 850. You're going to be able to generate wealth that's going to allow for your individuals within that household to also equally capitalize. So you're going to find yourself being able to do a lot more if you just focus on the right building transaction tools or methods. All right, and I came up with this little snazzy little understanding down at the bottom here. We can, we must, we will improve the financial lives of the working poor and middle class citizens of our country. Those are the ones who are hit the hardest whenever anything is going on. They are the most resilient. They are the most patient and understanding for the most part. They're still learning how to convey the importance of what they need. But again, that's where you have us experts. And all I'm saying to everybody out there, every team has one thing in common. Jasmine already knows it because we talked about it. But every team, no matter if you're an amateur team or if you're a professional team, every team has one thing in common, and that is a coach. And my job is to help you by coaching you to a better financial understanding. And I'm talking primarily to the working poor and the middle class. It doesn't matter your ethnicity. African Americans, Hispanics, poor whites, poor Middle Easterns, poor Asians, it doesn't matter your gender. It doesn't matter your income. If you follow these basic steps and understandings, you're going to see yourself where you need to be in the shortest of time frames. Okay, working poor and middle class, you got to want it more than those who are presenting it to you. So I'm hoping that these Tuesdays help you get to where you need to be. Reach out. Reach out to Soul City on Facebook, on YouTube. Reach out to Leverage Credit Recovery. Reach out to us on your Twitter box, on your Facebook, on your YouTube. I mean, we're on all of those social media platforms, so reach out. You can find us just by typing in Soul City Network or Leverage Credit Recovery. All right, so we're going to talk about some products here really quick, secured and unsecured. They both build, all right? These are credit products, secured credit products or unsecured credit product. A secured credit product basically means that you're securing it with your own resource. All right, an unsecured credit product basically means someone is giving you the money or lending you or a loan, whichever capacity you want to use, and there you are equally using the credit that is being extended to you to build your financial understanding related to credit. Because as I told you last week and the week before that, there are a plethora of financial products out there, and you've got to be real careful, really know what's going on with them, because that's going to help you in the long run to, again, you're looking at generational wealth. You're looking at creating something that's going to outlive you. And this is the best way to do that. All right. So the markets of credit building transaction tools and methods have exploded. And if you have been watching like I've been watching, and even if you haven't, trust me when I tell you, Google secured credit cards. If you Google unsecured credit cards and see what kind of list pops up, because there's a bunch of them out there. I know that we're a bit weary now because we've been dealing with these bank crises, but again, that's where the FDIC comes in play. So again, remember, when I tell you billionaires and millionaires aren't talking to hundredaires and thousandaires. Yeah, I gave us now the heirs too. Yes, if you make hundreds of dollars a month, then you are a hundredaire. If you make thousands of dollars a month, then you are a thousandaire. If you make tens of thousands, you can keep going and keep going and keep going. You eventually will come to the understanding of hopefully one day you will be that millionaire, or who knows, that billionaire. All right, with dozens already available and new ones appearing all the time. But what do these tools and methods actually do? Can they help you build or recover from credit hardships? And are they worth the cost? What are the best ways to build credit? There we are, right there. Secured, unsecured, gets you a loan. It has to be something that is either borrowed or you're securing it with your own resources. These are important questions for everyone trying to build or recover from credit hardships. So let's take a closer look and see what these tools can and cannot do, and why they could be useful. So, credit basics. If you are considering using credit building transaction tools or methods, it's important to understand what your credit score is and where it comes from. So these 3 key points are super important. Number 1, your credit score is based on information in credit reports kept by 3 major credit bureaus: Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Again, 3 credit bureaus. Now, please remember, I use the word bureaus because I want all of you to understand these are not federal government agencies. These are private entities, and they're more or less credit agencies. But as you can see, that bureau word keeps popping up, and it pops up very frequent when you are Google searching. So again, remember, these are not bureaus. They have no connection to the federal government in any capacity other than that the federal government will regulate them, and hopefully they will fine and fee them when they create malfeasance, which a lot of them have. So you got to be very, very strategic in understanding that they have nothing to do with the government. These are for-profit entities, and their profits are astronomical. So if it's about the business, shouldn't you know about the business? Number 2, the information in your credit report is contained in trade line reports that are reported by your creditors. They're not, let me rephrase that, they don't have an obligation to report those. They do that for a monetary reason, okay? They don't have an obligation. There's nowhere in any rule books or law books or anything saying that Target or Walmart or Macy's or Prada or wherever you get your credit building transaction tools or methods from, there's nothing stating that they have to report. This is a business between the entity that lends you money, and it's a business between that entity and the credit reporting agencies. Equally, it's a business between you and the credit reporting agency. Oh yeah, you might not think that is so, but it is very much so. You are in a contractual relationship with Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, especially if you give them money. You're wondering, how do you give them money? Well, if you pay for a subscription or if you pay them directly through whatever means that you use to get your credit report, that's a transaction. That's a method in which you are now in a contractual understanding. If they're asking you to pay, then they're obviously going to give you something back in return, and your job is to make sure that that return is a ROI. It's a return on your investment. And if it's not, you got to rethink how you're dealing with that business. And number 3, credit scoring companies like FICO, Fair Isaac Corporation, and Vantage Score generate credit scores from this information using proprietary scoring methods. Again, keyword proprietary. They do not have to share that information with you, me, no one. It's proprietary. And that's why it's super important to really understand how they're going about the scoring models that they're using. You might not be able to get every ounce of what they have as proprietary, but you'll be able to get a lot more information just by following us or doing your own due diligence. All right, these are different there are different scoring models. You have many credit scores. You have up to 28 credit scores, if I'm not mistaken. Please double check, Google that if you need to, but I believe it is 28 credit scores. And they use different information in different ways. So please, again, your loan is one thing. A loan that comes from a bank in a form where you go down, pick up a check, or they deposit it into your account, that is a credit scoring tool or credit building tool or transaction method. If you get a credit card, same thing, Visa logo, MasterCard logo, Discovery logo. If it is, again, given to you from the institution where they're lending you that money, there's going to be a cost and some interest also that comes with that. So there are so many different credit building tools, methods, things that you're going to need to understand if you're going to be in this realm of the credit space. So really, 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 really start taking these things and understanding very, very serious. So those are the 3 key points that I wanted to point out. If you do not understand credit scores and how they work, take some time to learn about them before you start looking at credit building tools. Definitely Understand what you are doing. Take a few minutes, take a few days, take a few weeks prior to, if necessary. There's no rush. Credit's going to be around just like you're going to be around, but there's no rush to rush into failure. Let's plan this out successfully. I said it wrong the last time, but I want to make sure I say it right this time. If you don't have a plan to succeed, you definitely have a plan to fail. Okay? All right, so what do credit building transaction tools, so what are they? What do credit building transaction tools and methods do? What do they really do? But you can probably tell by these little dollars and cents dropping up there, they probably generate some form of resources. And that's ultimately what you want. You want those resources to grow. And the further those resources grow, or the higher those resources go, guess what you get? You get better and more favorable terms and conditions. So if you're someone who has been saddled with a 16, 18, 20, 22, 24% interest by improving, by using credit building transaction tools and methods, guess what? Those high interest rates are going to come down to that area where you're probably going to say, hey, you know what? I'm doing really good for myself, and I need to share that love with those in that household. So as I said, you're the CEO of your household. You're either going to build that business, or you're going to watch that business build someone else's business. So it's really important to understand how you're working within that household. You're the CEO. Your children are your investments. So you make sure you got to pass that knowledge on to those investments, because they're that return on your investment. And your friends, colleagues, everyone else, they are either assets or they're liabilities. Now, I'm sure you understand the both terms. An asset grows, a liability depletes. Okay, so which ones of your friends do you really want to keep? I thought so, your assets. So please, again, make sure that you are living accordingly when it comes to how you're managing that household. Remember, you're the CEO. Credit building transaction tools and methods are designed to place new trade lines or records of credit activity on your credit reports. Okay? Trade lines, that means new items, new trade line, every item, whether it be Walmart, Target, Macy's, Prada, Old Navy, American Eagle, it doesn't matter. All of the stores that you frequent or thought about frequenting, even when you're buying online, there's a whole plethora of new things online that I've seen that pops up. Shein and TEMU, there's all these new opportunities to get things at a much, much lower cost for you, the consumer. But what are they using? They're not using debit and cash. They're using credit building transaction methods. Shouldn't you be capitalizing? Shouldn't you be building? Of course you should. And the only way to do that is by making sure you're using the right building tools and methods. Your credit score is based on the trade line recorded on your credit reports. If you have no or very few records on your credit report, there may not be enough information to generate a credit score. That means you're credit invisible. You don't want to be credit invisible. You should be using some form of a credit building transaction method. If you are, then you should have something reported. If it's not, then you have to go to Equifax TransUnion Experian and find out what's going on. Credit building transaction tools and methods may be able to add enough information to generate a score or improve your score. So it's really important to understand how they work, how they build, how they generate, and how they help you improve as you're using the tools or the methods. There are three types of trade lines. You have a revolving credit trade line. These are accounts which you can draw or continuously up to a certain limit, like credit cards. So they revolve. They go around, 30 days, they go around, 30 days, they go around, 30 days, they go up depending on how much you use, they go down once you make your payment. Again, it's super important to understand. You got to pay on time, and you have to bring down that utilization. That's that revolving piece. The higher you keep it, the less likely that you're going to receive a favorable score if you don't bring that down within a certain time frame. Installment credit trade lines are loans which you borrow once and pay back in monthly installments like a student loan or a car loan. The only thing that happens here is that they just go down as you make your payment. It's not revolving, it deducts. So if you got a $20,000 car and your payment is $500, then clearly that first payment is going to bring that down to 20,000 minus 500, 19,500, and so forth and so on. So that's called an installment credit trade line. Most of us have the revolving. Some of us have the installments, but would be nice if we had a nice credit mix of both of those. And we do also understand that mortgage falls equally into that installment, and not very many of us, which is an asset mortgage. So we should definitely be looking at how do we get out of a renting situation. If you like renting, stay in it by all means. Just make sure that we address these as we move forward as a nation, that the largest expense, which is your housing, should always be part of the reporting when it comes to Equifax TransUnion Experian. Why is it not? Because we, the consumer, haven't really made that a focal point. And we need to start in these next two, next political cycle. So that's going to be roughly about 16 to 18 months. We need to make sure that these elected officials that we're going to be putting in, or that might be remaining in these understandings, we need to make sure that they are living up to what we need them to do. And that what we need them to do is start reporting our, not mortgage, but our rents and our living understandings. That big chunk of money, 50% nearly of your income, goes to your living, meaning your dwelling, where you reside, where you lay that head every night. There's an alternative trade lines are relatively new developments. All right, new developments. You got Cash App, you got Chime, you have a lot of new products. Self, which is another new one out there. You have these alternative trade lines that are helping build credit. But again, what we're finding out is that they're not reporting in the manner in which they should. You have to stay on top. Why are businesses successful? Yeah, that could be. Yeah, that could be as well. But a good reason why businesses are successful is because they have all those elements. They have bookkeepers, record keepers, accountants. They have all of these elements that we, the consumer, does not have. So it's up to us, the consumer, to make sure that our business household is running more effectively. So we have to do all those extra tasks. And it's not doing those extra tasks as if it's something that is mundane or that we don't want to do it. These are necessary. So you have to make the time. Because once you make that time, it becomes repetitious, and then you're going to find yourself doing it over and over and over and over. That success is going to come, obviously, with anything. When you do it that often, that frequently, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get so good at it that you're not even going to look at any of the shortcomings, because you won't be making any shortcomings. All right, you can now report rent and utility payments to credit bureaus. Now, please understand this. You can, but there's only one of them out there right now that I know. Utility payments, you can report those as well. And I think Experian is the only one currently that's allowing those to end up on your credit report. So it's really important to understand. Yes, you may be able to report these, but if you're reporting it only to one and say your lender uses a different credit reporting agency, does that really help you? It doesn't. So we need to make sure that if it's going to be reported, it needs to get reported to all three. Period. We can fix this problem. We can. It's going to be up to us. And it's going to take location, zip code. It's going to take you and your state, you and your community, you and your neighborhood to make this happen. Because Congress is watching. This is all being recorded in some form or fashion. So guess what? If we do in the 10701 area code, and there's millions of people, well, it's not really millions of people in the 10701 area code. Yonkers roughly has about 210. But if we got 210,000 people to do this simple process of holding businesses accountable, meaning these credit reporting agencies, even though you see bureaus there, guess what? We'll start moving that needle in the direction of where it's going to benefit the consumers equally as it's benefiting business. We're not going to take anything away from the business. We're just going to hold the business accountable. These accounts are neither revolving nor installments and are considered open trade lines. So you want open trade lines as long as you are keeping them positive by doing what you need to be doing. All right, credit scoring models prioritize revolving and installment accounts, and some models don't consider alternative accounts at all. So if you're going to get a product, a credit building product, please make sure that that credit building product is being reported. Even if they are on your credit report, they may not affect your credit score. So it's really important to understand that. You want to make sure that every item, trade line that you have is getting properly reported, and it's getting reported to all 3 credit reporting agencies. Okay? How to choose and use credit building transaction tools and method. Each credit building transaction tool and method will place one trade line for one type on your credit report. There are 2 ways which this can happen. All right. 1, reporting existing accounts, credit building transaction tools and methods which report rent, utilities, or subscription payments will take existing accounts which you are already paying and place them on your credit report. Experian, I believe, again, as I stated, does this, and it would be nice if TransUnion does it as well as Equifax does it. There are 2 other credit reporting agencies out there. They're not as prevalent or as large as the 3 that we customarily know about, but again, these credit reporting agencies are equally just like the credit building transaction tools and methods. They're starting to pop up because, again, law of population. That's all you got to remember, law of population. There's more of us than there are of them. So if there's a means to make money off of us, do you think they're not going to try to figure it out? Yes, they are. So it's really important, again, to make sure that whoever you're going to be doing business with when it comes to your credit profile, make sure that you're holding them accountable, because trust me when I tell you, they're going to be holding you accountable. Adding new accounts, other credit building tools will add entirely new accounts to your credit records. This may mean taking on new debt. There's good debt and there's bad debt. If you're managing your debt properly, you're going to be in a great position. All right. If you're managing your debt properly, it doesn't matter. A home is debt, but that home is not bad debt. That's good debt. That's assets that will eventually, over time, create more wealth. Okay. It grows. Your credit cards, if you use them properly and understand that, hey, I bring that balance down, I make sure that it gets reported properly, I'm checking and asking to lower my interest rate when necessary. If you're not doing all of these things, you're not working to better or strengthen or build that business. Again, you are the CEO of your household. Please act accordingly. So look for these features in any credit building tool. Reports to all 3 credit bureaus. Tools that report to all 3 credit bureaus will help your credit the most. So that means paying on time, bringing down your utilization, making sure that you have a nice credit mix. Do not over-inquire, and make sure that you have a big, large, huge history. 7 years is that positive number that they're looking for, 7 years. So if you have anything less than that, don't be surprised that your credit score kind of hovers in a particular range. But if you're doing it properly, guess what will happen with that credit score? You'll see it still going up. And then once you hit that 7-year mark, it's going to take off. Okay? So that's all you got to remember. Reporting to all 3 credit agencies, bureaus. Are the payments affordable? Many credit building transaction tools and methods require payments. They require sometimes an annual fee. They could require other charges that might come with having this credit building tool or transaction method. But again, don't let that deter you. These are short-term understandings because you ultimately want to get into a unsecured if it is a secured. And if it's an unsecured product that gives you a higher interest rate to start off, you want to start negotiating on chunking that and chopping that down to something that's going to be very, very manageable over a longer period of time. I was just talking to the producer as well about individuals who have 750, 780, 810, 820, but yet they're still being subjected to 18 and 19 and 20%. They might be good at keeping a high credit score, but they're paying costs that they should not be paying. That's because they're not savvy enough or wise enough to understand. What do you mean? I can call and I can negotiate these interest rates down? You most definitely can. And if you aren't, why not? If you got that great of a score and you have not negotiated that down to a understanding that puts more money back into your pocket, well then you're giving more money to individuals and companies that you probably should not be doing. So there's a little tidbit for those of you who are out there when it comes to 800s, 840, 830, 750, 780. Think about how and when you should reach out to those companies that you're doing business with to lower that interest. And if you're unsure how to do that, talk to the coach. You got a coach. Talk to us. If you can't afford them, then you will hurt your credit and your finances. So it's really important to choose your credit building product wisely. All right. If you can't afford it, then that's going to put you in more hardship. So don't go out getting thousands of dollars in credit cards. Allocate those credit cards now to specific tasks. I'll be talking about that in a later show, but that's what we really should be focusing on, making sure that I have more people saying good things about me, not one large credit card where only one person is saying good things about me. When I say person, I mean a business. And if you are borrowing from someone, equally that person should be also someone who's looking at, hey, I'll report too. Again, these are just methods and tools to help you with building a much better credit portfolio so that as time goes on, if you're new to the credit game, you'll be able to get at a later date much lower introductions to your credit borrowing so that it's 1 or 2% versus getting something at 18, 19, 20% and then having to work your way down. Start off low. And then if you do happen to run into a little bit of a snafu, it won't go that high. But if you're already high and you run into a little bit of a snafu, it's going to put you into a default and you're probably never going to be able to dig your way out. There are other methods that you would probably be able to use, but that's for another show. Bankruptcies, foreclosures, things of that nature. Low interest rates and fees. Building credit is supposed to save you money, not cost you money. All right, supposed to save you. So that's what I was just talking about. Those interest and those fees. Keep those things nice and low. And if you can get rid of the fees, by all means, talk, negotiate, make it happen. That's the way you get through some of these challenges, by renegotiating your terms and conditions. Athletes do what when it comes to those terms and conditions to play on a certain team? They're negotiating. What do they have? They have an agent. You don't have an agent. You have to be your agent. Or call Tyrone. The terms for loans. Look for loans with 12-month terms or greater for maximum impact on your credit. Make sure the loan is affordable. Okay, 12 months, reasonable terms and conditions. If it's $200-300, make sure again that you are able to pay these on a regular basis without it harming your ability to maintain the lifestyle that you want. Because if you overextend, then you're going to find yourself in a position where you're going to have to rob from Peter to pay Paul. We don't want those types of scenarios any longer. We want to make sure that everything is ideal. Ideal for what we're doing here, which is helping you create that lifestyle that's going to take you and yours beyond and also build at the same time. How will your data be handled? Look for a clear privacy policy. You don't want your personal data sold. And a lot of these things are happening, so it's really important to make sure that no one is infringing upon your rights. If they are, if you don't know your rights, then you don't have your rights. So it's really important to understand that you are protected. There are 5 Consumer Protection Acts that protect your information, protect your credit, protect the accuracy of how that information is also being displayed and how it's being reported. So it's really super important that you know your rights. Whether you are adding new accounts or reporting old ones, you will have to manage your accounts effectively to build credit. All right. Whether you are adding new or reporting old ones, you will have to manage, just like any CEO. They have to manage that business, just like any manager. They have to manage that business, just like any associate. If you're given a particular area in that store, department, wherever it may be, they want you to manage that effectively. If you're a cashier, you have to manage that register accordingly so that you don't come up short. All right. These examples are what you should be doing when it comes to managing your credit within that household. Use your tools effectively. Simply adding trade lines to your credit report will not build credit effectively. You will have to manage them well. So here's what you need to do. All right. Pay on time. That's number 1. Pay on time. Every payment on time. This is the most single important part of building credit. Paying on time. Mix your accounts. You should try to have at least 1 revolving and 1 installment account, a nice mixture. I tell everybody to achieve a good credit mix. What you basically want to do, a single person should have between 5 and 8 credit products. 5 and 8 credit products. That's a nice mixture. Some revolving, maybe a few installments. Then if you can, again, if you get a mortgage, great, fantastic. That's going to be your biggest installment. If you can get a vehicle, that's number 2. But if you can't at this particular moment, don't worry about it. Get you some lines of credit and get you some revolving credit understandings. You want to start off with secured if you're building or if you've ran into some snafus, some hardships. You want to go back out and you want to start reestablishing through secured methods, and you want to allocate. If you're unsure, definitely reach out to us on Soul City, reach out to us on Facebook, reach out to us on YouTube, and find out how you can, again, make sure that you're doing this the most effective ways. You're going to need a coach, folks. I'm telling you right now, you're going to need a coach. Stop thinking you can do this on your own. You're going to need somebody who's proficient, someone who's effective, someone who's savvy, someone who's intelligent, someone who's wise and smart about navigating through some of these challenges that you may not be adapted or apt to do. It's okay. It is perfectly fine. Yes, there might be a little bit of cost to that, but find a nonprofit organization. They sometimes have specialists within their organization, and now I'm challenging all nonprofit organizations. If you do not have a financial component to help your community, why not? You need to start looking at those experts within your community, like myself, who could fill a gap within your nonprofit organization, because I'm going to be starting one myself, and I'm looking for some board members. I'm looking for individuals who already see the positives that could come out of a nonprofit organization just by adding a financial component. We got the Grayston Foundation here in Yonkers. We got the Nepperhan Community Center here in Yonkers. We got other nonprofits. We have the YMCAs. We got the female YMCA, the men's YMCAs. We got all of these nonprofits, and I'm still baffled at the fact that they do not have a teaching financial component within their organizations. You want to help those individuals that come to the events that you have? Well, this is one way of making sure that we can help those individuals. Churches, another beautiful understanding that could be a synergy of wealth, not only just for the church, but also for the individuals that go to the church. I'm looking for churches, I'm looking for nonprofits, I'm looking for any entity that could truly benefit from having a Again, financial component already added to their nonprofit organizations. Are the payments affordable? Many credit building transaction tools and methods require payments. If you can't afford them, you will hurt your credit and your finances. So it's really important to make sure that you can afford whatever contractual obligation that you get yourself into. Super important. You don't want to make strides towards the plus and then have to keep taking steps backwards. Robbing from Peter to pay Paul, that's not going to do it. So what you're going to do is you're going to allocate your resources and keep those resources in small, manageable amounts. The more people you have saying positive things about you, the better it is going to be for your credit overall. So it's super important. Watch your credit utilization. Keep the balances on your revolving accounts below 30%. Now, again, take it into simple numbers. If you got $1,000 credit card, if it's telling you that you have to keep that around 30% throughout that 30 days, you can use all your money. Use it if you need to use it, but you got to bring it back down to that 30%. So $1,000, if I had to bring that down to 30%, that means roughly I have to bring it down to $300. So 0 is not where I'm striving to be. It means that I should be bringing it down to $300. All right, that means I'm freeing up 70% of my credit. When you're freeing up that much of your credit, that means the industry is going to start monitoring, looking at, which they're already doing. If you make the minimum payment, that's not going to help. The minimum payment, if I'm maxed out, that means I'm bringing it down maybe 15, 20%. That's not going to help you. The industry is going to look at you and say, you are a risk. So I can't take that risk, or I don't want to take that risk. Because if you default, then they're going to get saddled or stuck with the remaining balance. So lower is better. All right, credit utilization is a key part of credit scores. Bringing it down to a reasonable understanding is going to allow for you to maintain a healthy credit profile. Avoid hard inquiries. Applying for many types of credit, including some credit building transaction tools or methods, will place a hard inquiry on your credit report. Too many inquiries can hurt your credit score. That means you look a little bit desperate. Don't want to look desperate when it comes to credit. You don't want to look desperate when it equally comes to asking someone out. How many times would you, as a male or a female, how many times would you like the same person keep asking you out? And you keep telling them, oh, no, you're such a nice person, but no. You're such a nice person, but no. You're such... After a while, that such a nice person is going to become an annoyance. And you don't want that either in your credit, and you definitely don't want that in your relationships. Credit is a relationship. So look at it as such. Build upon these things, and it's going to help you in the long run. All right? So it's super important to understand hard inquiries will have a negative on your credit profile. So really take that very, very serious. Watch your credit report. Review your credit reports regularly and check for errors. You would be surprised that Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, they're a business. And that business does very, very well with not keeping things accurate. Oh, how would you say that? Oh, how do I say that? Because again, congressional reports. The 117th Congress, we are now in the 118th Congress, referring to the one from the last term, that Congress and the Congress before them have all generated reports that will tell you horror stories about what these agencies, such as Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, are doing. And they're going to keep doing it. We have only emboldened them to continuously abuse us, the citizens that are unaware of what our rights are. And that's why I said, if you don't know your rights, guess what? You don't have your rights. So it's super important to make sure that you're doing things accordingly. All right? By checking your credit reports, all that means is that you're on top of what you should be on top of. That's not that hard to do. So let's keep doing it. So take time. Building credit takes time. Your investments, when you invest, when you start to invest, you're not going to see millions and thousands of dollars overnight. Now, if you have millions or thousands that you're putting in, yeah, there's a possibility, but you're not going to see that overnight. There are some methods in which you can. I just learned something that I will be sharing later on down the road when it comes to cryptocurrencies and other things. But that's, again, another topic for it's totally another day. But building credit takes time. No matter what you hear on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, it doesn't matter. There is no magic secret that will instantly improve your credit. It's all going to take time. And most of the time that it takes is 30 days. So after that 30 days, you're then obviously in a situation where you're probably going to be able to make it work for yourself. You just have to think a little bit more strategic. So really super important to make sure that those things are working for you to build your credit. All right. If you have no credit score or a thin credit file, credit building tools can be valuable parts of your credit building strategy. So it's really important when you have little information in your credit file, anything new will have a visible impact. So getting your credit, securing it properly is going to allow for you to increase that score over time. And again, remember, building credit takes time. Remember that. Building credit takes time. All right? Always an important thing to understand. So, if you have a poor credit score, a large number of trade lines in your credit records, adding new trade lines will have little or no impact. So let's say that one more time. If you have a poor credit score, a large number of trade lines in your credit report, adding new trade lines will have little or no impact. So you gotta let it obviously marinate. You gotta let it take time to build into the business that you want. So doing the business is what's going to get you to where you want to be. All right? You should focus on managing your existing accounts better, not adding new ones. If you have a poor score, you have large trade lines already, don't go out and start adding more. Let's focus on correcting some of those issues, bringing down some of those understandings. If you're already in something where it's been charged off or where it's in collections, then what you want to do is you want to start making sure that those things are corrected first prior to anything. If you do that, then you're going to find yourself in a much better situation. So again, I am someone who understands both the building, the rebuilding, and someone who understands how to remove negative information equally off your credit profile. And one more, we can add positive trade lines. Oh yes, positive trade lines. I'm a trade line broker, so I'm just here to help you make sure that you understand how you're supposed to be doing this effectively and with the most understanding that's going to help you, your business, into that understanding that you want, positive. And when I say business, I also want you to understand business people should be doing the exact same thing. If you own a business, you should be working on building business credit. If you are a consumer, which most of us are, you should be focusing on making sure that you are managing that household like a business. Doing those two things is going to help you with making sure that you are fully secured and properly set for whatever may come. Because trust me when I tell you, it's been raining out there and some of us are getting drenched. So doing the business is what you're going to have to do moving forward. It's just that simple. All right, folks, we are here. We have gone 50 minutes and it seemed like it was just 2. It goes so fast. That's how important this information is. And when you are someone like myself who is tuned in, keen to the subject matter, someone who understands it like they understand the color of my skin, oh, I'm telling you, you can get things done. You can get things done. And our job is to help you get there as quickly, as fast as we possibly can. But as I told you, everything takes time. Everything takes time. So all you got to do is just hold on for a little bit and you'll get there. Hold on for a little bit and you'll get Everything takes time. So just chill. Just chill. You're gonna get there. Eventually you will get there. All right? That's all it is. Taking your time, understanding what you need to do. All right? But if you run into any types of challenges, any types of misunderstandings, if you've already Googled and you've already done your searches and whatever it may be, and they're still not getting the answers that you need, I want you to reach out. All right, reach out to us. Call us here at 805-428-9424. Taking texts, taking whatever it is, that method or however it would allow for you to get in touch with me. Call me. Send me a quick text. Hey, you know what? I've been dealing with this issue. Is there a way that you can help me get through it? Absolutely. Email me, leveragecreditrecovery@gmail.com. That's leveragecreditrecovery@gmail.com. Email us and let us know. Hey, we'd be more than happy to jump in, help you out wherever we can. And we're using this new website. I like to call it my new website. It's Linktree. Linktree allows for you to put a lot of wonderful tools and recommendations and items into it right in one line. Ours is set up with our calendar. It's set up with a variety of different shows that we've already done. It's set up with our library announcements that we do every Saturday. It's set up with some great products that's going to help you with building, as we just talked about, building and rebuilding and using credit building secured methods. All right, whether you want secured methods, which I tell everybody, start off there if you're rebuilding or if you're new to the credit game. That's the best places to start first. I want to thank everybody for giving us that time. It is always a pleasure to be part of your afternoon on Tuesdays, and I can't thank you enough for the opportunity. I'm so grateful to always be part of your financial understanding and helping you get to that next level. And as always, you can find us on a variety of different social media platforms. We ask you to like us, we ask you to follow us, and we ask you to join us. Join us on Tuesdays, join us on Saturdays, join us on these variety of different platforms, and leave us questions also in those sections where you can, so that we can help you along your journey to recovering from whatever the hardship may be related to credit. It's so important. If we do what we need to do moving forward, I'm telling you, we have November that's going to be here in no time, because next weekend or this weekend coming up, we're already halfway through May. Seemed like May just started. Seemed like the beginning of the year just started. But we're almost 6 months into this year already. And it's going so fast. I'm just always startled that every single day when I go to sleep, I'm waking up and I go back to sleep. It's just going so fast. And I was always told that when I get older, it's going to go really, really fast. And it's going really, really, really fast. So you can find us on TikTok. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Tumblr. You can find us on Snapchat. There's this new one out there called Tribal that I just got myself signed up with. So there are even more social media platforms that you can find us on. But ultimately, what you really want to do is you want to go to Facebook and you want to find Soul City Network on Facebook. You want to search us out on Verizon. You want to look for us on Apple TV, Roku. You want to look for Soul City Network on the apps and programs that we are available for you. These shows are being broadcasted on a variety of different networks for you, that public who wants to find themselves in a better financial stance, whatever it may be. If you do your part, I guarantee we'll be here to make sure that you have that information. And it's all about that information, folks. It's information. What you do with that information is totally up to you. But our job as the experts, the ones who call us, who say, hey, you've helped me out so tremendously, you're now my expert. Dr. Yana B, who's one of my dearest friends, and I want you to also tune into her show on Thursdays, Access Wealth Nation on Thursdays. I'm just one small component of this larger financial bubble. And again, this bubble pops and it grows and it pops and it grows, but I'm just one small piece. I'm that builds that foundation for you. Dr. Yana B will put up the walls. She'll put that roof on top. She'll make sure that you are so secured, but you got to start somewhere first. And I'd rather you start at the foundation. If you're going to build any type of structure, any type of home, any type of building, you need a foundation that is stable. Three Little Pigs. Do I have to go any further? You already know the story. Leaning Tower of Pisa. Do I need to go any further? You already know the story. Okay? Tilting, huff and puff. Okay? Make sure that your financial house is built on stable ground. And the best way to do that is to make sure that you have a full understanding of how your money works. And it starts working not just with your employment. That's a nice way to get some of that income or that revenue, but it starts building once you have a stable foundation. And that stable foundation is going to come through how you manage your credit. If you manage it successfully, if you manage it with the most effectiveness that you have now been given, I'm telling you, you're going to see the rewards. You're going to see the benefits. You're going to understand that, hey, I can get through this. All I needed was a coach, and I needed the drive, the will to want it more than those who are presenting it to me. And if you do that, I'm telling you, you're going to have the success that you're striving to get. So as always, it is a blessing. It is wonderful. I'm hoping that we can probably squeeze in a question here from someone. If you are still out there and you're viewing us on the different platforms that are out there, drop in a question really quick before we have to wrap this up. We got about roughly just under 3 minutes, and I would love to be able to answer one or two of those questions. If we got one that may pop up somewhere pretty soon. If not, it's okay. Again, every single Tuesday, we're going to be here. We're going to be presenting. We're going to be giving you new, updated information as to how you can better your financial stance with the products, tools, methods, research that we do every single day. We are versed in this understanding because we understand how important it is to you. We want you to be successful. We want you and yours to have the benefits of. We want you and yours to get out of these high interest rate products, bring them into that low interest rate realm. And if you want to still be a shopper, you want to still be somebody who's out there buying, well, that's good. It's okay. It's okay to shop. It's okay to spend. That's what keeps the economy going. But we don't want you spending when we're at 6, 7, 8% inflation. We want you spending when it was or where it should be back to, hopefully in due time. We've seen high inflation before. I was showing my students just recently, we had inflation that was up as high as 12%. This high inflation is not new. What we need to do is make sure that we're spending effectively. And the best way to spend effectively when interest is so high is to use credit products. The best way to build a financial understanding that's going to outlive you is to make sure you're building it with credit building transaction methods. If you do that, your future, the future of those who are relying on you, the future that will be for those that they will have others relying on them. If we set our children up for success, we will not have anything to worry about. Working poor, I'm talking to you. Middle class, I'm talking to you. Hispanics, African Americans, poor whites, poor Middle Easterns, I'm talking to you. My name is Tyrone Glover. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, America.